Good evening, Jacksonville. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Colby, and this is Channel 6 News.
Today we're going to find out how the internet is affecting you.
Also, we're going to learn how safe you are while taking the public bus.
Today, the worldwide internet blackout has started with more than 100 content distributing websites shutting down their digital doors in protest of two up-and-coming bills. As some say, these bills could effectively censor the internet and begin monitoring what you post online to filter out copyrighted material. These bills are proposed from companies who claim their intellectual property rights are being violated through the use of sites that host user-generated content, such as YouTube, Facebook, Wikipedia, various online forums, and more, by distributing digital copies of copyrighted goods. They say that piracy costs the economy about $7 to $12 billion each year. Some protesters and internet experts argue that these big Hollywood companies that churn out all this great content aren't quite adapting to the new information era's best practices. So today's story is going to take a closer look at why it is that big companies are pushing for legal help. A very popular argument claimed by Valve's CEO Gabe Newell, I'm going to read it real quick here, is that piracy is almost always a service problem and not a pricing problem. For example, if a pirate offers a product anywhere in the world 24/7, purchasable from the convenience of your personal computer, and the legal provider says the product can only be purchased at a brick-and-mortar store, then the pirate's service is simply more valuable. The idea behind the protest is to demonstrate which sites are going to be either censored or shut down completely due to this ruling, and there are hundreds. It is definitely true that piracy can have severe costs to businesses, but companies who don't adapt their business models to the new and more efficient software as a service rather than software as a product model can face these difficulties. A good comparison is the study between Netflix versus Blockbuster. Netflix offers their videos as a service, while Blockbuster has always offered theirs in the traditional product-oriented manner. They're both legal, and one business model has, through trial and error, proven to be more valuable.
Wow, it seems interesting how even protesting has become digital.
Now, let's go to Amber with sports.
A new leisure activity that most of our athletes are participating in is planking. Planking entails a person laying flat on random objects, usually done as a joke or just for silly fun. Brandon Kinney, Nebraska's wide receiver, made a running leap on top of a 12-foot basketball hoop, just to snap a picture of him planking in a cool new spot. The whole team was rooting him on, and his fans won't stop tweeting and Facebooking about it. Dwight's butler dared him to plank on top of his Escalade. The butler said, "I'm not driving you to practice until you plank on this car." Shortly after, Howard was found planking at his favorite restaurants, air hockey table, a motorcycle, on his Jaguar, and on a skee-ball machine. To say the least, Howard has the best planking record in the NBA, although his coaches aren't too thrilled about it. Last night, the coaches called off practice because Howard was encouraging the players to plank on the field and in the locker room. Howard mentioned, "I was planking to have a good time, and it has now got me in trouble. I need to focus on my game and stop goofing off. I will be apologizing to my team and coaches." Hopefully this fun leisure activity won't get any other athletes in trouble. Just remember, refrain from planking at practice and you won't make your coaches upset. Mentioning Howard, he will be in Orlando this weekend with the NBA All-Stars. If you want to attend, it is at the Amway Center, doors open for guests at 6 p.m. on Friday. There will be a raffle, scrimmage games, and an autograph session. Howard said, "My goal for all the All-Stars is..." I messed up. My goal for the All-Stars is to dunk and plank immediately after. Planking is becoming so popular with athletes, we have decided to hold our own contest for you viewers at home. Upload your photos to our website, www.channel6.com, for a chance to win a 60-inch plasma screen TV. This is Amber McCool reporting with today's sports. Now let's hear what the weather is like today with Calypso.
Thank you, Amber. I am meteorologist Calypso Gibaldi, and today I have great news for all of you. The weather is finally clearing up, and it's going to be a beautiful week in Jacksonville. Looks like we're going to go through a little bit of a fog for the morning, but outside of that, I'm going to call it partly sunny skies today, and we're going to slightly start a warming trend. Today's high is 72 degrees, and then tomorrow morning it will look a little more foggy popping up, and we're going to see those 80s moving in. So let's go right to our Futurecast segment. At this point, we go through the day with the peekaboo sun, and then tomorrow morning again, we're going to see that fog Wednesday morning, at least the potential for it. Thursday morning looks like a little fog again, and then a front is going to try to move in the area, but doesn't quite make it. But after Thursday, we're going to see those low 80s coming in on Thursday and Friday. Then on Saturday, we've got a 40% chance of seeing some late afternoon and early evening showers, and depending on the time of the front, it may move into Sunday, and that's going to cool things down. We're talking about mid-60s for Sunday and Monday. So that's your weather report, and now we would like to remind everybody that hurricane season is coming soon. If it's anything like last year, you're going to want to prepare your houses and your family. Hurricanes are like no other storms on Earth. From Maine to Texas and in Hawaii, these ferocious weather systems bring torrential rain, flooding, storm surges, and devastating winds that damage homes, destroy treasured keepsakes, and disrupt family life. Help protect your family against potential weather disasters and emergency situations by compiling an emergency supply kit. This kit can be assembled over a 5-month period on a weekly basis. Perishable items should be changed or replaced every 6 months. You don't have to be blown away when a hurricane hits. It's never too early to prepare, and you can take several basic steps right now to protect your family and your home from disaster. Make sure you have the essential items. You need water, food, battery-operated radio, flashlight and extra batteries. And some other things that you should keep in mind are a first aid kit, non-prescription drugs, tools and supplies, sanitation, clothing and bedding, supplies for babies and pets, important family documents, family medical needs, and entertainment if you think you might get bored. If you're remodeling your house, talk to your contractor about getting hurricane-proof windows. I did, and now I don't have to worry about putting shutters on my house when the hurricane's coming. Prepare your home for a storm. If you're handy with hammer and saw, you can do much of the work yourself, and work involving your home's structure may require a building contractor. However, or even a registered design professional such as an architect or an engineer. Installing plywood shutters, if you are going to make and install your own shutters, take the time to pre-install the anchorage hardware and prepare your shutter materials before a storm threatens. Pick out and purchase the material you want and use it and cut it to the appropriate size for the type of installation you select. There are a lot of effective ways to install shutters and many more that are not. Be wise about window mist. Do not open windows during a storm. This only lets damaging wind and rain into your home. Tape does not protect your windows from flying debris. It might keep more of the glass out together. I don't know, sorry. I messed up again. More of the glass together. Okay, I got it now. Ready? Ready?
Yep.
It might keep more of the glass together when impacted, but it will not keep it in place. So what do you do during the storm? If there's a watch issued, fill your vehicles with gas. Get extra cash, fill prescriptions for mobile homes, secure, tie down, and prepare to evacuate when ordered. Bring in loose objects from outside like chairs, tables, and if there's a warning issued, secure all windows with shutters or plywood like we told you before. Place valuables and important papers in a waterproof container and store them on the highest floor of your home. If you are advised or ordered to leave, follow all directions and orders from local officers and leave immediately when instructed to do so. Bring the emergency supplies that you collected ahead of time, including a first aid kit, medicines, food, water, formula, and diapers, toiletries, cell phones, radios, batteries. Bring everything with you and bring extra cash and copies of important documents, such as insurance policies. Bring blankets, sleeping bags, books, and games. Unplug appliances. Turn off all your utilities, such as electricity and the main water valve. Lock the windows and doors of your house, too. If you're not told to evacuate, stay at home. You don't need to leave. Leave the roads available for those who do need to evacuate. During the storm, go to an interior room and stay away from windows and doors, even though they're covered. During very strong winds, lie under something sturdy. Do not go outside, including during passage of the eye of the hurricane. Don't procrastinate. Prepare yourselves now and you'll be fine. Remember these helpful tips, and if you want to see more about preparing for a hurricane, just check out our website. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Now back to Colby with our community news.
When you get on the public bus in Jacksonville, do you ever think to yourself, who's driving my bus? Well, it's estimated that 25,000 people ride the JTA bus every month. And Channel 6 News decided to take this into consideration and really look who is driving your bus day to day. What we found, though, will make you think twice before boarding the JTA bus again. We looked into the 330 people employed there and found that 258 of them had a total of 1,276 criminal and driving violations going back to the 70s. 34 employees had more than 5 driving citations before they were hired. 12 employees have been arrested for violent crimes such as domestic violence and child abuse before being hired, while 13 employees were cited for driving with a suspended license, revoked, or invalid license while driving after they were employed. The whole investigation started when a passenger was run over and killed downtown by a JTA bus in October, right when he got off. That driver was later fired. We also found out that Arvin Powers, who is a bus driver, had multiple prostitution arrests and an arrest for trespassing on school property, but still had his job. When he was eventually fired, it was not for those charges, but for verbal and/or physical abuse to a passenger. When we asked the executive director and Clinton Forbes, the director of mass transit, about this, they could not explain how he was hired. How did the executive director, Michael Blaylock, miss all their criminal records throughout his whole career there? Michael Blaylock commented and said, "I have to accept full responsibility for this, and the JTA board expects me to fix it," even though he was unaware of the background problems before this investigation took place. Wait, can I stop and rewind that? Just go right background. Can I start again? Yeah. Okay. Background problems before this investigation took place. It was probably easy to be unaware of the background problem because the authorities' policies on screening drivers both before and after they are hired were spotty in some areas and non-existent in others. Shannon Eller, a JTA spokeswoman, commented and told us applicants cannot have a suspended license or revoked driver's license within the past 2 years and cannot have a chargeable accident or more than 3 points against their license in the past 3 years. But what about the other criminal charges the drivers had? The JTA buses also just started busing the magnet students to the Duval County Public Schools last year. How are the parents of these children supposed to feel about their children riding with drivers who could be a public offender? A mother commented about the situation and said, "I didn't feel comfortable at all having my kids getting on a JTA bus in one of the worst areas of town." When we tried to talk to the bus drivers themselves, we did not get a reply, but we did hear from the union spokesman, David Roscoe, and he said that the drivers had paid their debt to society and had a right to seek employment with the JTA. He also commented that it is wrong of a JTA to suddenly fire people for something that happened long ago because the agency looks bad. We did find, though, that 72 of their drivers had no driving citations or criminal arrest. People did try complaining to the company itself about how the drivers were acting. From May to August of 2011, JTA had 48 complaints about bus drivers that they deemed valid. From September to December, there were 8. So what were Michael and the rest of the board's actions for what we found out? After the investigation started, JTA also did their own investigation and relieved 3 administrators. Wait, stop. Go up a little bit more. Okay. Can I go? Okay. Investigation and relieved 3 administrators of their jobs. The 3 that lost their jobs were Transportation Superintendent Charlotte Hall, Risk Manager Joseph Lewis, and Bus Operations Analyst Roxanne Capehart. Also, 4 bus drivers were suspended when JTA discovered their licenses were not valid. Blaylock also stated that he will not hire any more bus drivers with criminal records and inclined to avoid people with violent arrests, even if they were not convicted. They are also looking at partying with the state law enforcement so that background checks can be done frequently. Hopefully in the next few weeks, the JTA bus system will have a new set of rules to follow about checking the driver's background and files more often than before to make it safer for the passengers on board. What should you do, though, if you get on the bus and get harassed or something bad happens to you? If it's a physical offense, you need to call the police and report the crime. But if it's a complaint to the JTA, then either call to make a complaint or email them personally. But now we are going to learn what new kind of food is cooking with Katya.
Thanks, Kobe. I'm here with...
I'm Katya. Nice to meet you.
And so you told me today we're going to be doing empanadas?
Yes, we're making my favorite Puerto Rican dish, empanadillas. It's great for snacking on before dinner, during dinner, whatever you like. Okay, so first we start off with ground beef.
Okay, I see you've poured the ground beef into the thing.
Yes.
It'll come in a little plastic thing.
Whichever ground beef you prefer, it doesn't matter. We add a tablespoon of sofrito, which is just a bunch of chopped up peppers and onions and stuff to give it more flavor. And we also add this Latin salt type seasoning. Spice, whatever. And it also helps to give the meat more flavor. So if you like, you can sprinkle some on.
Okay. And how much do you usually sprinkle on?
Usually just enough to cover the top, and then we mix it all together.
Okay.
Mush it all in together, mix it up.
Okay.
And once we're done with this,
do that. All right.
Okay. Now once we're done with this, we move on over here. Put the stove on high, and we just put the meat on a butter pan so that it doesn't stick and it doesn't stump on you, I guess, like oil will.
And did you put the pan or butter on the pan beforehand, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Put all the butter on the meat. And you wait till it's done cooked. When it's cooked, and then you start making the final edges once it's done cooked. When it's cooked.
All right.
So once the beef is cooked, you take these dough. It's called dough turner. It's made for especially for turnover pastries, which is pretty much how you say this in English, I guess. And what you do, you take one of these and you put a little bit of beef on it. However much you like, but usually not too much because then you can't close it. And then I'm making beef and cheese ones, so the beef and some cheese on it. You can use whatever cheese you'd like, but I prefer American. So you fold it in half, you put it in here to make it really cheesy. And then the trick is, you take water, dip your finger in it, and put it on the outer edges, with the outer edges a little bit. And then what you do is fold it in half. Not working with me. And press down the ends with a fork. That's do it on both sides so you make sure it stays closed. And then once you're done with that, take it on over and put it to fry.
And what are you frying it in?
Canola oil. You can find this in Publix, Walmart, and any other supermarket. And you wait for it to fry.
How long?
Fry it on medium so that the inside cooks too, so the cheese can melt. And then wait till it's like a crispy golden brown. And once it's a crispy golden brown with some bubbles on it, you can take it out and let it sit for a little bit because it'll be too hot. So as you're making these, you can put whatever you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be beef and cheese. You could do peanut butter and jelly for you peanut butter and jelly lovers. I know there's some of you out there. You could do chicken, you could do steak, whatever you like. Pretty easy stuff. So here's one that's almost done. This is how you want them to look in the end. Nice brown and crispy, crunchy, yummy. And that's it for today.
Let's go to UNF, where Jake is there to report on a new group who's on the green.
Thanks, John. I'm here with John and Riley. They're going to explain to us about Dagger Gear. Okay. What is Dagger Gear?
Dagger is a foam fighting combat game that we play, use foam weapons, and pretty much beat the crap out of each other.
How many people are in your club?
I would say we have about anywhere from 8 to 12 serious members that come out here on a regular basis, and pretty much anybody that's on campus is welcome to join whenever they want.
How often do you meet and when?
We meet every Thursday at 4 o'clock here on the green, and everybody's welcome to come out. You have to sign a waiver because it is a fighting sport, and so they want us to have the waiver signed. But you don't really need one.
How long have you guys been participating in our Dagger Gear?
Well, me personally, I've been a member since last semester, about halfway through last semester. This man here asked me to come out and actually play for them. I'm a musician. And I came out one day and he said, here, grab a sword and a shield and go at it. And I've been doing it ever since.
And I've been playing for the past 5 years. I got into it back home and been playing ever since I started this club here. So it's been a lot of fun.
You guys participate in tournaments, correct?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
What is your record?
Our personal team record, we don't really have one because they don't really go by units. It's more of like a one-on-one competition of swords and shields versus swords and shields. And actually, none of our guys have won yet because we're still a fairly new unit. But we have a bunch of friends who've taken first place in some of the tournaments that are like all Florida, so we're doing pretty well so far. We're rising up.
And what are the rules?
Well, the very first rule is safety, is to make sure that, it's going to be safe for anyone who's participating and specifically for anyone who's watching. That's why we use really good parameters for the foam, we use really good parameters for the shields, and more specifically for things like projectiles like arrows and javelins that, you just happen to get hit with the wrong end of the weapon, it doesn't bruise or severely injure you in any way. The second rule is practicality, playability. Is it going to work in foam fighting? And then the last one is realism, which is, would it work on the battlefield? So, like, this weapon right here would be considered a red weapon. It's a greatsword, essentially. This can break shields. I have to hit the shield twice and call red when I strike the shield. After that shield's broken, he either has to drop it or take another hit, which loses his arm.
But the more basic rules that we explain to everyone, you get hit in the arm goes behind your back, you have to drop your weapon. You get hit in the leg, you have to drop to your knee, you hobble around your knees. You get hit in the chest or the back, you die, and there is no headshots allowed unless you have. Once again, we're not LARPing. LARPing is a game that has magic. There is no magic here. But the future, who knows? If we could become an Olympic sport, we really don't know. It's still pretty new in the United States. It's got started in the 70s when they were using couch cushions taped to PVC pipes. And we've come a long way since then, so we are going to come a long way.
You were saying Dagger here is based off of Lord of the Rings?
It's based off of Lord of the Rings. It was started off of guys who were watching Lord of the Rings and the Robin and Marian movie from back in the 70s with Sean Connery. And they just got really inspired, started a radio broadcast that had some kids go out, and it grew from there. And it's mostly a northern sport. There's a lot more people who fight up north, like Pennsylvania, Ohio area. But it's slowly spreading to Florida.
You guys go by.
That's all for tonight. We will see you tomorrow, bright and early, when we learn about the new products from Apple.
Stay tuned to watch Merrick Now after this. Good night.
Good night.